Should we get onto it?
Oh, good.
The Bulls against Glasgow in the URC final. Where do we begin?
Called it.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Did anyone?
First and foremost, people talking about, did you give them a chance? You go into Pretoria at altitude against a team, and the stat is ridiculous around they've lost one knockout game or something in 25 at Pretoria, at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium. And so not many people would have given the chance with the travel and all that malarkey, but my God,
good.
They were... And I'm watching it, and we're messaging. You're lying on your back in Barcelona, and I'm watching the game in the build-up to the mighty Kersley Rugby Club dinner in the car on the iPad. And, like, the Bulls go 13-0 up in the opening sort of 25 minutes, and I'm like, I felt for Glasgow, because I'm like, no way. How powerful the Bulls were, and, like, they looked fucked. But obviously, they found it within themselves, score a try before half-time. Franco Smith works his magic at half-time, and then they get the victory. Hey, physical as you like. It's amazing for Glasgow.
And fully deserved.
Yeah.
Like, there's no part of it where you're like, oh, a fluke, and Jake White's talking about the ref. So Steve Clark. I agree with Steve, I don't agree with Jake.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, just physically. Like, physical, the bench was unreal. The line-out drive defence at the end of the game, Cancelleri on the wing, Jack Dempsey, Kyle I mean, I could go through every single player, but the balance of the back row, Matt Fagerson got man of the match, Jack Dempsey, either of them, Rory Darge, Henko Venter when he came on, Xander Fagerson going 80, George Turner when he came on as well. Like, they were just to a man fucking good.
Yeah.
Just good. And I don't think anyone saw that coming, even the Bulls. Like, I think the Bulls would have respected them, but they had Leinster the week before. They dusted off Leinster physically. We spoke about it. We went fucking hard on them last week, and Rob's cutting up all the stuff around how physical they were and how Doris got dominated, and like Leinster physically couldn't live with them. At what point is anyone thinking Glasgow are going to go down there, who've been good this season? And yes, they beat Munster in the semi-final, and Munster, you know, were average, and Glasgow didn't comfortably beat them.
Yeah.
And then they've got to get on a plane, and all of the headline
Via
things,
Baghdad, via
exactly,
Timbuktu, via Dubai.
in economy for the majority of the players, at altitude, against Springboks in a place which isn't easy to go and win. So it's... Of course you're going to say, well, if you've got to pick one, well, I want Glasgow to win.
But you think the Bulls? 100%. You mentioned a lot of forwards there, James.
Yes.
Josh Mackay at fullback.
Wicked.
Unbelievable.
Really good.
Tom
Jordan.
Tom Jordan at 10 until
he's wicked.
Banged someone on the head. Tua Pilotu defensively.
Lions 12.
Yeah, without a shadow of
and
a doubt.
Attacking.
Yeah.
Like, as you say, defensively, which is the kind of, I would say, the cornerstone, that and his Route 1 carrier.
Watching him bang
proper
balls.
12.
Yeah.
Like, he's like an old school 12.
Yeah.
Lions 12.
Yeah. And actually looking at the game, now, obviously, Glasgow have had this amazing driving maul that they've scored so many tries from this year, and they did this weekend as well with George Turner scoring after half-time. Just before half-time, it's a Scott Cummins pick and go try from a driving maul eventually that scores. But what I loved about it, the try they scored, and anyone that's listening, go back and watch the start of the winning try by Hugh Jones, where it comes from, how they're playing. They've gone to the width, backs move, played to the other side, back to this side, boom, score in the far corner.
Which is them. That's like Glasgow historically.
Yeah, but they've got both parts now, haven't they? So they've got their driving maul and the way they play off the cuff, ball out the back to width, hold the width. They've got the centre split on both sides of the field, Tua Pilotu on the right, and then... Great
detail.
Yeah. Hugh Jones ends up scoring off Stain on the far left-hand side. And it was... So they've had everything in the game. You know, the physicality, the driving more. They out South African the South African team. And I'm watching... There's a few points in the game. If you're... And you mentioned Jake White. Jake White's gone at the ref. Have a look at yourself, right? Have a look at your own team. If you watch how they played, they just thought they were going to run...
Route 1.
Straight over the Glasgow boys. They just kept going one-out rugby, where they grab someone on the back of the shirt and try and throw him through the contact. And the Glasgow boys stood up to it all. They had no other game plan, hardly. You know, Curtly Aarons was playing, hardly touched the ball. You know, Houston at 10. The big thing, and it came from when they had the try disallowed, Glasgow. So Jack Dempsey's try, wheels on him as well, fair play. And they come back for the early tackle. It's 21-16 at the time to Glasgow. And Houston's got a kick from 40 out straight in front of the sticks. Take the 3.
Yeah.
Take the 3. 66 minutes. You've got 14 minutes. Take the 3 to bring it back to 21-19. So Jake White talking about the referee and all this stuff. From a Bulls perspective, I'm saying, look at yourself, your game plan, and it worked for the first 25 minutes, and then Glasgow barred up, were at the races, shut everything down, but they didn't have another game plan to go to. But then game management, take the 3. Houston ends up kicking to touch, not a great kick, the line-out function, drive didn't work.
Their line-out was poor.
Yeah, and that's a lot about what Glasgow did to them as opposed to necessarily just being poor. And Glasgow fully deserved the victory.
And most Bulls fans, or all but like anything I've seen, is they're all saying fully deserved.
Yeah. And interesting, if you mentioned the Bulls fans then, and I love the atmosphere, like it was party central. It's in Pretoria at the Bulls home stadium. Great to see 50-odd thousand people, pretty much sold out stadium for a final with only a week's notice. Like, fair play, amazing. I do think the Bulls, and this is the sort of thing that you love the razzmatazz and the...
I thought it was awesome.
It was like a fucking nightclub. Yeah. And it was great, but I think if you're a home finalist like the Bulls were, you've taken all your advantage away by just making it a nightclub so you can't hear the fans. All you can hear is like the party music. And I don't think pressure built on the Glasgow boys from actual loud home support. It was more just, we're in a nightclub, lads, let's do this. And they probably got a great feeling from the music as well,
I thought it was good.
Yeah. But
I know what you mean. Only
from a Bulls
you saying
perspective.
that, you saying that to me now,
Yeah.
I see what you mean, because like they took that hostileness out of the stadium, kind of, and it was this kind of new school, which the URC are pushing.
Yeah, it's great, but when it's your home final in your hometown, your home stadium,
shot through the heart, and you're to blame.
But don't have it on as much. So allow the atmosphere to build and allow your team to be supported by 50-odd thousand Saffers, and try and use that advantage. Whereas I reckon the Glasgow boys were like loving this. The tunes are
they do.
bang.
They do like a night out as well.
Let's go and smash someone. Yeah. And it worked well for them. So yeah, Glasgow were brilliant. Credit to them all. And there's not egg on people's faces because no one really gave them a chance. But they've proved a lot of people wrong, including myself. I gave them no chance a couple of weeks ago going to Munster.
You did.
And I said I can't see them winning, and they proved me wrong there. I couldn't see them going to the Bulls, and poor Stevie Ferris before the game was just like on Premier Sports saying there's absolutely no chance I can see Glasgow winning this game. I just can't see anything that they've got in their locker that can. My God, they had plenty in their locker to win that game, didn't they?
There you go.
Should we get him on, lads?
Let's get him on.
Who we got?
Absolutely hanging. You know who we've got? He's absolutely hanging.
I mean, can you imagine?
He's landed 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Via.
He nearly drowned when they
Doha.
he nearly drowned in the celebrations when he's drinking from the trophy. Do you see the picture of his
He
eyes?
said to me he had a vision of dying there and then, and he was happy he was going down as a heroine.
Yeah.
Donkey, how you feeling, mate? You're looking fresh as a melted snowman, 2 piss holes in the snow.
I've slept for maybe about 5-6 hours over the course of 2 8-hour flights, and then Saturday night as well. So yeah, I'm gunning to go for Mad Monday.
I mean, it didn't sound that positive, but first and foremost, Jim's got in there with how you feel. Congratulations.
Sorry.
You've got the cap on.
Good, yeah.
You are a double champion now yourself. Not many gave you a chance outside of your camp, no doubt, of winning it. How do you feel, mate? Apart from Ryan Wilson getting in every fucking photo, how do you feel?
Well, Wilson, I woke up on Sunday morning with Wilson fully clothed beside me in my bed.
That's a worry.
His hotel was in Pretoria and we were in Joburg.
The John Terry. Was he trying to John Terry you as well, was he?
He had his boots itching to get them on and get full kit wanker on, but he didn't, unfortunately. But nah. It was unbelievable. It's not really sunk in, to be fair. Like, going away to Munster, no one gave us a chance over there. And then 50,000 people against you in Pretoria at Loftus. It was an unbelievable physical encounter. I thought our forwards the last few weeks since the playoffs have been outstanding, like how physical they are. Like Jim often talks about it when I listen to him, like the game's going to a different planet, like in terms of the intensity and the physicality and all the rest of it. But I thought the boys just done such a good job, and yeah, it's not really sunk in yet.
You say when you listen to Jim, do you not listen to me? No, I gave you a chance.
No,
Yeah, but
no,
you,
I know that.
Yeah, but he's rinsing Scotland
Goody,
all the time.
you're still raging that I got the Worcester Warriors dream team and I was there for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Hill must have picked it.
That's why. But Donkey, on that as well, and I was someone that didn't think you'd go down to South Africa, and you can only go based on like what you've seen go before for teams that go down there, and the fact that you had a game against Munster, all the travel, all these things that have been spoken about after. And I think there's a little bit of like past trauma with myself, you know, like as in a Scotland jersey, going to places that are tough to go and play. You mentioned the physicality. That was the thing that stood out, not against Munster, like you were there and your lads were physical. Yeah. I was actually in shock at the physicality, like to go further into that. But that's there now, isn't it? That it's not a fluke. You don't go down there and fluke it.
That's the bar now, isn't it, that they've set?
Unreal. Just a little bit more on that because it was phenomenal.
We knew that the test that was upon us. If you're going to the Bulls, you know how good they are around the breakdown and how physical they are. Like you've seen against Leinster, how many jackal penalties or turnovers did they win around the breakdown? So if you weren't going to dominate that area of the game physically or bar up in that area, then it was going to be a long day at the office for the boys. And yeah, I genuinely don't know how they do it. Like I don't know if you've seen in the second half when George Turner comes off the bench. The guy's jumping like 3 channels in to smoke all their forwards. Like he's T-boning them.
I love that,
like,
Van. They're all called Van.
Van
just get out there and smash Van der fucking whatever his name is.
Is it Van Staden?
Van Staden,
yeah. Van Staden. Yeah.
Who is like built like a Smeg fridge.
Well, look at the carry. Look at his try. You know, like
yeah,
a
joke.
But it was
a joke.
It was awesome.
I thought all the boys were unbelievable. The pack and the backs as well, like Josh Mackay at the back, like
how good
is he? Like him with the ball in hand is just unbelievable to watch. Like how powerful he is, and he's I'm so proud of the boys. Like what a shift, and it's like I say, it's not really sunk in, but I'm sure after a few days back home in Glasgow, celebrating, we'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
and it'll soak in.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel a little bit bad, Donkey, and we have referenced Glasgow this season, like we have done, like when we've gone through the teams and stuff like that. But
top team now, Jim.
But we're not. I don't think we've done enough justice to them. Really, you mentioned.
I think when we
Josh
got
Mackay
knocked off the top of the table, I think that was like everyone just thought, oh, Glasgow were in it for a fight, and now they've kind of slipped away. We got a mad 12 minutes or whatever when we were over here 3 weeks ago at the Lions.
That was all you, pal.
And
that was all you.
They scored how many tries off in 12 minutes of madness, and then that scoreline kind of slips away from you. We come home, we play Zebra at home, and we don't really get clicking that much. And again, everyone's writing you off, but nah, it's. I think Wilson was the only pundit to get all the results right, and he's up in glory, not just because he was an ex-Glasgow Warrior, but
yeah, he thought he was still playing, didn't he? He thought he was one of you, John Terry there, Ryan Wilson, John Terry. I want to ask you then, you sat on the bench and I watched the whole game, and that first 20 minutes, I'm like, this isn't fair because of the travel, because of altitude, and they were on the front foot, weren't they? 13-0 up.
Yeah.
And looked in that first 20, 25 minutes, I know you had a crack to start off with and you had some possession, but it looked like they were just going to take over and rumble, and possibly from a neutral point of view, looked like it was going to be a comfortable.
I was texting you. I was in Barcelona, so I couldn't watch it live, and you were like, like the scrum, like the physical, everything. Everyone thought it would be, apart from you guys.
Yeah, and then you get the try just before half time to bring it back to 13-7. Obviously, Scotty Cummings gets the try. I want to know what's said at half time and what your thoughts were, because you dominated the second half, which for a team that's not used to playing at altitude to do that to a team that plays at altitude that haven't had the travel, where the fucking hell's that come from? It was amazing.
I think we believed if we could get into like the last time we've played them, it was a month ago or so. Like 60 minutes came and then we just grew arms and legs. We just gave ourselves too much to do and we lost the game by 5 points or so. So we knew like, and the later the game went on, our boys are so well conditioned. Like, and to be fair to Xander Ferguson going 80 minutes again, like absolute joke. Like how much he put into the game and the rest of the pack. But yeah, I think we just believed once we got that score, like you say, just before half time. We were kind of we felt that Leinster the week before kind of played into the Bulls' strengths of kicking long and giving them a kick tennis battle and giving them those little snippets of like kind of unstructured play that they could kind of throw into the game. I thought George Horn at 9, his game management was outstanding. Like his short contestable kicks, we were getting underneath them, we were banging them, we were giving them nothing kind of cheap, albeit they were making little inroads of the games, but boys were just barring up physically. On our own goal line sets. It was just that one try that we conceded. But yeah, it was I kind of as soon as Hugh Jones scored that try in the second half, I thought we were winning it.
Worldie of a team try as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we're unlucky with Jack Dempsey's breakaway with a slight early tackle and that. If that was in, like the better team had won for me. Like us going over there scoring 4 tries. Like we properly deserved it, which was huge. Like, and I didn't think we probably got the rub of the green off the ref that much in the game as well. I don't know if that 50,000 at Loftus kind of played into that hand, but yeah, it was unbelievable.
Well,
Boys
I think
class.
I think Jake White begs to differ.
He does.
I don't know if you've seen the stuff. Have you seen the stuff or not, Donkey? I don't know how much you've seen online.
What did he say? He quoted the date that he's coming to Scotstoun to try and beat us and all the rest of it. And
something away. But he's done the same as Steve Clark. He's basically just
blame the ref.
Yeah, it's the ref's fault. But with that, Dunks, maybe just give us an idea of the psyche, because I've seen some anecdotes around it about Franco, the way that he's set you guys up over the last couple of years as a coach, but with that hard mentality. And I've spoken about this. Yeah. I've always felt that that's what Scotland players need. We saw that with Stern Vern, who didn't like me, I didn't like him, but he was well received by the lads. Franco, as well, as hard as it's been, but he's almost like set you up for this moment, because all the excuses before, we were talking about on the pod, like how did Glasgow back up a game against Munster away with all that travel at altitude against the South Africans that we fucking love on here, who are like the world champions. But this has been brewing for the last couple of years. So just talk about the mentality and the psyche around how he's set you up over the last couple of years to go and do what you've done.
Yeah, no, I think he's firstly got us conditioned to, especially the pack, like the output that they're putting in week to week is a joke. I know you guys love Johnny Matthews, but he's only scoring those tries because he's like the maul is so conditioned that he's doing those extras with the pack all the time. And I think probably the last time I seen Goody was over in Dublin, wasn't it? When we didn't even fire a shot in that final. Like it was kind of, the boys were shell shocked almost being there and all the rest of it. But it looked like now that we're coming to these big games, and it was the same against Harlequins as well in the quarter final. Like we're right in that game. Like arguably we could have won it.
Yeah.
And I think the more that you're in those kind of knockout games, more comfortable the squad feels, or you're still feeling nervous, but you've got that experience behind you, and we've got a lot of test match players in that side as well. But yeah, I think Franco's done an unbelievable job. His contact rotations every week is relentless. Like boys are flying into them. I know he absolutely grasps with the forwards as well. You can probably speak to big Richie Gray, Jim,
I can see it on his face.
Get a few tears off him.
But just give us a bit more insight. So when you mean contact rotations and conditioning, just give us a little bit more, because they were the two things that were the difference: the fitness at altitude and the travel, excuse upon excuse, and the physicality. So just give the listeners a little bit more detail on what you mean by the contact rotation and conditioning.
So we do them pretty much every training session, and they're kind of short snippets of kind of, say, within like 2 minutes you're doing 8 carries, 8 cleans. Like you're kind of getting off the deck repeatedly. Everything's at high intensity and high paced. There's not as many, like, you want to drill technical issues as well, but it's more your mentality of getting off the floor and giving your physical best time and time again, and being repeatable at that. I think that's where we've kind of grown arms and legs over the last 2 seasons for me.
Donkey, legend, mate. Congrats.
Thanks.
Like, genuinely, absolutely pumped.
Yeah, congrats for everyone. And I apologise for not believing in Glasgow over the last few weeks, but you've fucking proved us all wrong.
Yeah.
So well done, buddy. Really chuffed for you.
Always next year. Cheers.
There you go, legend.
Enjoy, Dunks.
Cheers, Donkey.
Thank you. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Pod.
Rugby pod.